So, hello everyone. Today I will show you that basically the London system is the perfect weapon to win all your chess games, but not when you're playing against Gukesh. So this is one of my favorite games that I showed bins of times to my student, and I think it's even in my chess book about the London system. It's the game Raunak Sadhwani against Gukesh, and basically it's a game played on chess.com, okay, but it's a very intense game. So that is the reason why I'm showing you that game. So d4. Gukesh is playing with the black pieces, knight f6, knight c3. So this is, okay, the Drobava London, but I don't like giving it this name because it's a very old weapon that even Maciej Kornet used before Drobava. So d5, bishop f4, and now c5. So c5, you have to understand that after knight b5, you're basically okay because you can go, knight a6, queen a5, etc. So, okay, so e3, it's okay. C a6, I'm sorry, just not allowing the pieces to get on b5, and now knight f3. So black did a lot of pawn moves, but it's basically to get a very solid position. So it makes sense. e6 defending the c5 pawn, but now it's blocking the bishop. If you try to go bishop g4, then it's basically okay. But after h3, you have to take, and I'm not sure you're a fan of doing that. Just giving back the bishop for no reason. But okay, e6, knight e5, and now knight c6. If you take, I will just take back with the b pawn, and then I will go a5, and bishop a6, and just trade this very bad bishop for this very good bishop on f1. So of course it wasn't played. g4 was played, trying to be ultra aggressive, which is definitely playable, but you have to know what you're doing. Bishop d6. And what's funny is that I actually had the same position in one of my classical team championship match in Switzerland. But basically, the knight was on b1 and the pawn was on c3, which was giving me a really good position directly. But okay, g5, and now bishop takes e5. The idea is pretty simple. If you take on f6, I take back with the bishop. I can even take on f4, then take on f6, and if you take here, then it's okay. I do not really care. The pawn structure is completely ruined. Now we'll go, queen h4, queen f6, or I can even go knight e5 first, and I'm definitely winning. So bishop e5 was played, and bishop takes back was also played, and now knight e5. If you take this knight, I just move that knight out of the way on d7 or somewhere else, and it's okay. D takes e5, and now knight d7. Both pawns are hanging, so f4. And now, basically, the position is better for black directly, even though white went super aggressive with g4, g5 trying to mate you. It's just that if you're Gukesh, I think you see when the pieces are hanging, so he didn't let them hang. So b5 was played. It's okay, taking a lot of space advantage, um, and that's actually a good position for black, directly. Okay, queen h5, trying to attack. Bishop b7, just developing some pieces, preparing some d4, winning the rook. So bishop g2. Now if you go d4, I take on b7 first. So queen e7, just developing the queen, defending f7, and preparing, of course, long castles. And now there is no more attack on the queen side. So black was ultra super, smart with f4, e5, g5, etc., but it's not helping. King b1, and now knight b6. We have more pawns on the queen side. Let's just go and launch some attacks on the queen side and basically, mate you. Knight e2, and now king b8. Why? Because at some point we will certainly go d4 or c4 or b4, and we don't want a king to be on these open files. So king b8 is logical. Knight g3, and now g6, just making sure that no pawns will jump on f5 and start any sort of counterplay on the king side. G6, queen e2, and just rook c8, placing the rook on the potential open c file. H4, but now h5 again, stopping the counterplay. If you take en passant, I would take with the rook, and basically I will mate you slowly but surely, and there is nothing you will be able to do about it. I'm sorry, I will mate you on the king side. I mean, taking the h pawn, winning over there. And basically, since I'm ready to launch an attack on the queen side, but I'm also winning on the king side, it's a very bad position for black. So e4 and now d4. Now there is just a weakness on e4. I just launch one more pawn, in your camp. So basically, black is more than better in that position. Queen f2, rook h8. There was no take en passant. So basically, we do not need the rook on the h file anymore since the file is closed. But f5, still trying to be reactive. Sadhwani is not a joke. Knight c4. We don't care about the king side. We will actually win on the queen side. fg, you have to take back, fg back, and queen f6. Now if you do not trade, then I will actually lose my pawn on g6. But you know what? We don't care. Queen c7, I'm going for the king, so let's just take my pawns. I'll be more than happy if you lose 1, 2, 3 tempo eating my pawns. So, queen g6, queen e5, knight f1. That is a very active knight. So if you want to defend, do not play knight f1. e3, threatening checkmate, and now the game is just completely lost. c3 and rook f8. Why rook f8? Because I just want to go, I'm sorry, on f2, then attacking on g2 with my knight, and there is nothing we can do about it. Knight e2. Now, if we take, there is no more attack, and I think that honestly, black is still completely winning, but it doesn't make any sense to go for something like that. You know, you have to build up your advantage again. So just rook f2, accepting knight takes e4, but after taking back, there is no an open b file. So at some point, I would actually just attack you on the b file, and I'm still attacking on g2. So bishop h3, and now bishop e4, just playing active. If you went for a move like rook g1, I would still be able to take, and then go d3 and mate you, etc. So yeah, so that is not an option. So bishop h3, bishop e4, queen e6, but now, funnily enough, black just accepted to trade the queens off just to go d2, and bishop takes h1, and now white resigned. Why did white resign? Because let's say you take there, and you take on h1, I can still go for a move like rook e2, threatening rook e1 check, and you have to take, and I will make a queen. And if you go rook g1, I will still go rook e1, and let's say you take, I take back, and I do a rook with checkmate. And if you don't do anything like h3, then I can actually take, and go for queen promotion, and the game is completely winning. So now we see how to actually crush, ultra attackers like Sadhwani. You just have to play like Gukesh, play some moves, play solidly, and then when it will be the right time, just launch the counterattack. Because basically, White just lost so much time. I will show you again. White lost so much time playing f4, g4, queen h5, and Black castled on the opposite side. You know, that's not the way to attack. But okay, that's the reason why I'm showing this game to many of my students, even very strong students. Of course, if you're interested in my book on the London system, just go down in the description. You will have my theory book about the London system. A lot of games, a lot of good lines to actually learn. Some lines are there to be learned by heart. Some other you just have to learn the plans, and it will be enough. Hopefully, see you in the future. Of course, take care.